They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
Yeah, well, here we are, everybody, back once again doing WellRED. Drew came briefly back to the show and has since absconded, as he is wont to do. Now, this time he drove 9 hours to buy an unnamed Korean car from a dealership outside of Washington, D.C. So and then now has gotten stuck at that dealership. I mean, it must be just one hell of a deal, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's a hell of a deal, or Drew wouldn't be doing
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
By
Drew's
the way,
a deal-loving son of a bitch.
he is a deal-loving son of a bitch. By the way,
what's the farthest you would drive for a deal? You like deals too. Me, I like convenience.
I like,
so,
well,
like,
you know,
I
prefer
wouldn't go
convenience
almost
more.
anywhere for a deal. Like, I wouldn't, but like,
No. I wouldn't either. I mean, I like a deal. Like if when I'm at an antique store and I see something that I think the person has undervalued, I get excited. But like, if I heard about somebody at an antique store in Kentucky that had a thing that I would not drive there just to get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
by the way, this is the first time I realized, like, when Bare Naked Ladies sang, if I had $1 million, they say I would buy you a K car, a nice Reliant automobile. I always thought that was like some sort of Canadian thing. I didn't realize it was a Korean car. When I heard K car, this is the first time I've ever.
I mean, is it like? I mean, I know K-pop is Korean pop, K-dramas is Korean dramas. So I mean, is that or is that a specific type of car?
I don't know. This is
what I mean?
This is only the second. This is the second time in my life I've ever heard the term K car, and the first was in the Bare Naked Ladies song.
Google and Wikipedia say K car may refer to a Chrysler K platform. So I guess Chrysler had a platform of models called the K series.
Okay.
And so it was K things or whatever. But I mean, but also like, I don't even know what, so that's, Bare Naked Ladies. When is that? It's like the 90s, right? If I had $1 million.
That was on there. That was on there. I can't remember which album it was on, but it was before Stunt, which was 99. So it's probably 96 or something.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I buy you
96.
That ain't right. There's no way that's right. What? This says Google says 1988. That's not right?
That's not. No, that's Google AI shit.
Fucking Google's like. They've sold out themselves.
They've ruined themselves
with all this, not just AI, but also the ads, the promos. Everything's the same.
It's horrible.
The whole
you're
reason
not really getting information. You're getting bought and paid for bullshit.
And the whole reason that they even got to be the default, like they have an eponym or whatever it's called, where it's like when people say, "Hey, Google that," yeah, like right. Kleenex or Band-Aid or Dumpster. Google has one of those, which is complete.
Dumpster is one of them.
Yeah, Dumpster's one of them. Yeah, that's a brand name. Yeah, but that's complete market dominance is what that is, unquestioned. And they got that by hitting real hard at being a search engine, But and they just fucking suck now. Dude, I mean, I guess everything eventually just starts to suck. I was about to say, like,
you just basically described Facebook as well. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Facebook started out and it became the biggest social platform because it was great. There was no ads. And I understand that, like, yeah, you have to make money. Like, a business has to make money to maintain or whatever. But there's a huge difference in making money and just being like, we will just become completely useless for what it is that we are. Like, as we are a search engine, and we will take as much money as possible to be the worst search engine. But, like, it's the default, and it's on my phone and shit. And, like, I have it. I could probably change it to Bing, but I have it, and I don't know.
No, I still use it too. I just use it and complain about it. But, like,
me too.
Yeah, no, right. But that is definitely what has happened. But it's also like, I mean, they built that empire, billion, probably $1 trillion over the years empire, while doing it in a way that hit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they were having trouble fucking coming up with money. Google.
I don't know though. Is it like? Do you think?
I think
maybe
they went beyond that. I know with a lot of tech startups and stuff, it's like venture capitalists and rich people prop them up because one day they'll make a profit.
Right.
But Google, I think they got. I mean,
But-
dude, we're talking decades.
But how
ago,
did they turn a profit without ads? Like actually turn a profit. I understand how the company could get money because all these people invest in it, but how did they actually turn a profit?
Well, they did ads, but
Right.
it just wasn't the way that it is now.
Right.
Like the search engine, the ad, you could very clearly tell what an ad is.
Right.
And there's one or two of them at the top and it says promoted or whatever, but there was no AI bullshit that was incorrect. And all the other things were like legit sources. And so it was like, you know, that's one thing, but now it's just like unusably bad.
AI should
Again,
be the
not unusably. I still use it, but
well, AI is now the default too. When you search something, it automatically comes up. Like I feel that should be something you turn on because, like, dude, I mean, how many people? It's one thing. It's one thing to be like, okay, I'll go to Chat GPT and look this up. Like you know that you're getting AI stuff, right? But like, there's got to be millions of people who search on Google and don't realize that that's AI. Like they just overlook that and they just see the
definitely
thing.
that
And
happens.
like, and like, right. And obviously, it's innocuous when it's Bare Naked Ladies wrote "If I Had $1 Million in 1988," but like when it's, you know, does Pete Hegseth have a drinking problem? No. Then it's like, okay, you're just spreading false information.
Yeah, no, it don't hit. I just want so I know this was forever ago now, but the whole like, how far would you go for a deal thing? And I said I wouldn't go nowhere because I care more about convenience. Just so people know, that works in the other direction too for me. What I mean is like convenience is king for my lazy ass. What I mean by that is, so I would not go in, not the very first extra mile would I go to save $1 over convenience. But I also, like, let's say I was doing a show at some venue and they were going to put me up in a hotel and they were like, there's a Hilton Garden Inn across the street from our theater, like right across the street. Or if you want, we will put you at the Four Seasons downtown or whatever. You know, it's like 10 minutes away or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, just put me in the Garden Inn because I'd rather it. I care
I'm not
more
going to be
about
in there anyways.
Right. I care more about being able to walk over. The convenience part is what matters, and it goes in both economic directions. So I'm both cheap and lavish, I guess, in terms
well, you
of
just want
whatever
what's
convenience warrants. Yeah.
I mean, to me, like money, the only reason money exists is to make you more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's the only reason it exists. And so if I don't spend it on, if I like, okay, it's fine to save $1 here and there if it's like it wouldn't have been no big deal. But like, yeah, dude, like if looking for, like, think about, like, I go to Kentucky, right? Let's say I drive 5-6 hours for this deal, and even with the gas that I spent, it still turns out that I saved $1, right? I still count those round trip 12 hours as 12 hours of my life. And it's like,
of course,
what is my life worth for an hour? More than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could be at home getting some work done. Oh, speaking of which, I want to promote this really quick because I'll forget at the end. I have a new thing and you're going to laugh at it, but it's like the most positive feedback I've gotten on any new project I've done in a while. If you have trouble sleeping, it's public domain sleepy time theater. I'm doing it at WeLoveCorey.com, and it's where I read in a calming voice to you works from the public domain. And the first season, we are doing The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. So check that out at WeLoveCorey.com. People are loving it. I had so many people comment they listened to it last night and fell asleep, which is the goal.
So how do you know that would help people fall asleep reading
because
like
they're
popular works of literature that are, you know,
because I read it in a calming voice. You know what I mean?
That's all that matters. Don't even matter what you say. It just matters how you say it.
Well, no, my thing was like,
because what if it's a banger of a story and you get like engrossed in it, and then you're like,
and that can happen. That can happen. But that's why I'm doing things that are in the public domain. Well, number one, I'm doing things that are in public domain because I don't have to pay for it.
Right.
And I can. But my thing was like, I've been thinking about, and I listen. But for the record, let me go and shout them out. Sleep with Me is a podcast that I've used for years and is great.
I've fucked with them before.
It's not like I'm revolutionizing anything, but the reason that I thought about it for this particular thing is, number one, I wanted to read Tom Sawyer again. Number two, I was like, every night when I go to sleep, I have to, in order to go to sleep, I either have to watch a movie I've seen 1,000,000 times or listen to an audiobook that I've listened to 1,000,000 times. So it's like, I already know the story, so you're not going to, and so I'm like, well, with a lot of these, I'm reading, people already know it, you know, but like also the pitch is like, even if it don't make you fall asleep, it's still relaxing. It'll help you calm down. It's better than scrolling on your phone or whatever. And also as a benefit, like, even if you're like, I just want to listen to Corey read Mark Twain in a sexy Southern voice, you got that too. And so chapters 1 and 2 are out at welovecorey.com. And I tell you, buddy, I'm over the pitch. I'm not trying to sell anymore, but just to say, reading Mark Twain, this is the version I'm reading right here that I got from Barnes and Noble. Reading Mark Twain, you really gotta read ahead several pages before you start recording, or otherwise you're going to be editing a lot, because like it's not as difficult as Old English, but like some of the old Southern phrases and stuff, and I consider myself pretty learned in old Southern phrases. Yesterday reading chapters 1 and 2, I had to stop probably 8 times to look up how to pronounce a word. You know what I mean? And then of course, when I got to Big Jim, and just the way,
that was my immediate pressing question. How are you approaching?
Well, in
the
this
N-word.
I don't know if this is the NIV version or whatever, but so far it's just said colored and Negro. Right, but
does that have a date in it inside the book? Because
let's see,
they famously did that, right? Which was controversial.
Well,
like
I had said,
whoever had the publishing rights, or I guess the public domain, so anybody wants to publish it, they like took the
this is
N-words
copyright 2003.
I feel like that hadn't come up yet.
I agree, but listen, it might be that later he does call him that, because this is in chapters 1 and 2. All you see of Jim. Like, Jim is more prevalent in Huckleberry Finn.
Well, Huckleberry Finn's the one that everybody always talks about when they talk about the N-words and stuff. I was just, in my head, I was like, there's at least some in Tom Sawyer.
I'm sure that there are, because they've already said colored, mulatto, Negro, and all that. And, like, it's funny you say that, because I was talking on my stream last night. I was telling everybody about this, and I was like, I'm very conflicted, because so far it hasn't come up that it's been there. And I was like, I'm very conflicted because, like, listen, it's a put you to sleep entertainment podcast. So it's like, why would I say it? But then I'm like, yeah, but it's the context of it, and artistic integrity, like it matters. And so far it hasn't come up. And
it's like, sort of in a way,
it's a satire.
It's like, who are you,
right, to say that,
to edit
Mark
Twain?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that's a valid way to look at it. I mean, I'm sure it's a very divisive topic with people, but for sure. For me, it's like, he's one of the GOATs, obviously, and it's like I'm gonna decide that he ain't this word shouldn't be part of what he wrote or whatever. It just doesn't. It's like, it just don't feel right to me. Now, I've never been in a position to do what you're doing.
Me either. But it's one of those divisive topics that, like, usually I like. Especially in today's world, the type of divisiveness that we go through, it's every time I look at, anything that comes out of Trump's mouth or anything that they put up, I'm like, well, it's very easy for me to know exactly which side I'm on in this situation. But I will admit, this is one of those divisive things where I'm like, I totally get either argument. You know what I mean? I really do get either argument, but it hasn't come up yet. And I don't know, because again, it's like the whole book is a social satire of the way people were acting and behaving after the Civil War. So when Mark Twain uses that word, it's not Mark Twain is not going, this word hits for me because that's how I feel about them. It's him talking in the parlance of the time. And I feel like, it's like I've always said, like, if Quentin, we bring this up all the time. If Quentin Tarantino didn't have Don Johnson saying it, that's letting them off the hook. That's rude or whatever.
I agree with that too.
But at the same time, it's like, if the primary purpose of this is to put you to sleep, I don't want you to come to when the hard R comes out. And I think Negro's fine. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I would never just walk up and call somebody a Negro, but I'm saying when you're reading something, because I remember, I don't even know if this is okay to say, but when we read Huckleberry Finn in like 6th grade or whatever, our teacher read it to us, and the way she edited it when she was reading it, she would say "Negra," which is like a combo of both of them. But it was her attempting to. She's like, I need you to know what it
soften it a bit.
Well, yeah, she's like, I need you. She's like, I need you to know what he said. I can't, I need you to know what he said, but I can't say the word.
Right. Well, that's. But I mean, I get it. It still is editing it, but it's also like that's like taking it pretty close to the same line. But related to that, I actually was texting you about this earlier today. There's a bit on Trash Daddy where I talk about going on auditions and stuff, and I was like, you could make a compilation reel for my audition tapes that would make Paula Dean blush,
Yeah,
right?
me too.
Which like is true, as you know, and it's like that's always one where it's like feels weird. So and I do a whole thing in there where I talk about getting a script. It's like, oh, this is a great director and a stacked cast. This would be awesome, and I'm playing this guy, and then I get into reading it. The stage directions are like, Billy Ray reaches for the knife on the nearby table next to the neatly folded Klan robe, right? And I'm like, God damn it, because even though I obviously assumed that was coming, I'm still holding out hopes. Like maybe he's one of the good ones. Nope, never. It's all. But anyway, that story is basically verbatim true, and it's relevant right now because it's the movie in question for that particular story with the neatly folded Klan robe or whatever is the movie Sinners, the Ryan Coogler movie that's out right now with Michael B. Jordan. I auditioned to play one of the racist white people in that. Now, for just so everybody knows, because I haven't seen the movie yet. If you've seen it and they're like, "Oh, that shit you're saying that never happens in the movie," that doesn't mean anything.
That don't mean shit.
Oftentimes, the sides they give you to audition as an actor are not actual lines in the movie. Sometimes they are, but oftentimes they're not. Which kind of makes it funnier that I had to say like 3 hard R N words in this audition. If it wasn't even part of the movie, they were like, "We need to hear how he drops it."
It'd be funny if that was like a covert op to cancel you. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things where it's like, I knew it never crossed my mind because it's like, dude, some people seem to have this like position, which I totally get in almost all contexts, where it's like it's never ever ever okay to say it no matter what.
Yeah, but it's usually never black people that say that. For the record, it's usually white ladies.
And in a situation like this, it's like in my head, I was like, I mean,
yes, it is.
I'm a profession. I'm not. I mean, I want to be a professional actor. They're all professionals involved. Like, I have to. Part of me at first was like, I did because I'm neurotic. Part of me did start thinking, it's like, what if other people are editing it or something? But I mean, they're not. Yeah, right. It's like
they're not getting the gig either if they do that shit.
Right. Yeah, but it's like, I'm also thinking it's like, what if they then I say it and they're like, that hit a little too hard for him or something.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, but too much stank on it or something. I know you should put stank on it. I'm a fucking Klansman. Auditioning to play a Klansman, but it's like, but it is real weird. It's an odd.
It's an odd thing, but again, like especially in a black directed movie, I'm going, I trust that this guy, if he knows that it should be said, because again, like I really do feel like if you start doing that's like gaslighting a whole group of people into thinking that people didn't act a certain way back in the day, and it's like they did, bro. That word, like they go, oh well, that's how people talk back then, bro. I mean, they still. I'm not going to repeat any of it. I'll tell you off mic, but like. I was at some extended family Easter shit this week. I heard some fucking shit that even I was like, God, and I'm a comedian who is like, I'm used to hearing this type of shit from people. Even I was like, God damn. Like, not even, I'm like, people still be talking like that. And back then, it was like, not only fine, it was encouraged. And you could, this movie takes place right after you could own people. So, like, you think they're going to go from owning people to be like, I guess I'll say colored. You know what I mean?
Did the people that were doing this at the thing you were at, are that you said you went to an extended family gathering? Are these people you don't like see much? Like,
I only see them at things like this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I only see them at things like
yearly
this.
Or so, a couple times a year or something.
A couple times a year, yeah. And it was again.
Was this when they said it? We were like, that is so great, Uncle Randy, or were you like, God damn? So are they getting like worse or something?
No, because it wasn't funny. Like it wasn't even meant to be funny. It was
I didn't mean that. So him like, like that hit for you. I just mean like, were you like, of course he said that, or were you like, damn?
It was a step beyond.
Okay.
Like it
like
felt,
even for these people, this person,
it felt a step beyond. Like it,
right?
That's all I'll say.
What do you think about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are they worsening these people?
I don't know that they're worsening or they're getting just braver in what they've always been. I think that's really what it is. Is they're braver in what they've always been. Like there was a time when they either there was a time when they didn't feel comfortable saying that, which I don't believe in, or if now it's like they feel like so. It's really funny because I think we've talked about this before, Shirley, but it's like these people act like Donald Trump didn't win. You know what I mean? Like the way that
Right.
they
'Cause
behave
they're like mad and
is
shit.
as if they are still in some huge fight, you know?
Right.
And it's
Because
like,
that's how they thrive,
that's how
man.
they
Like
thrive.
that's what hits the hardest for
I
them
know.
is being in that position where they
I
can
know.
pretend to be persecuted and looked down on and stepped on and all that shit. Like that's they shit.
So
they
my
live
point,
right there.
Yeah. So my point is, I can't decide if it's they now, because of Donald Trump, they now feel more comfortable saying it. They're more free to say it out in the open, or it's that they're getting more intense because they're more scared now than ever. That like, because dude, I see, racial cleansing fucking posts every day where it's like, last year there were more mixed babies born in America than there were white babies, and I'm like, first off, no, there wasn't. I don't know how you're getting your data.
Absolutely not.
There absolutely was not. But even if there was, like, you're already here. What if they're not going to kill you? Like
that's the great replacement theory, which is like a hallmark of
Hitler,
fascist alt-right, far-right like rhetoric and shit. That's part of how they get people is they like freak them out by convincing them that like you are being erased, or and replaced, and that somehow the Jews are running it all, but the Jews are choosing to replace good Christian white people with Mexicans and blacks and stuff,
right?
Because that they hit for Jews, I guess. I don't know, but
these same people also be like, there's going to come a time if we're not careful where everybody just looks the exact same, just a blend of whatever. And I'm like, that'd be awesome.
That would hit.
That would hit so hard. Then we would hate you based on what was inside your brain. That'd be so great.
It's also like you could still, if everybody was the exact, I have no doubt that if we all woke up tomorrow and we're the same color, we being human beings would immediately find so many new things to use to justify to hate each other.
Of course, but at least it would be based on something,
right? But it's like, but if you hear that and you're like, what a damn shame that would be, because you want to be like, well, look, man, it's okay to have pride in your culture and whatever else, and it's like, well, you can still have
a culture.
You can still
do with skin color,
where you're from. There'll still be different. British people and American people are not going to be the same. People from Tennessee and people from Vermont are not going to be the same, whether they're all the same color or not. Right. I'm saying, and of course, rich people still going to hate poor people, and poor people are going to hate other poor people. But it might make it a little harder because now, usually, when poor people hate other poor people, it's because of race shit. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, but anyways, like I said, like I'll tell you off my. I mean, if anybody thinks I'm being a coward for not saying what it is, I just don't feel comfortable, and I don't want to, and that's it. That's me saying this. Think about that. That's me saying this. But it was, I don't know. I know some people too would probably be like, why didn't you stand up and say something or whatever? And it's like, I just walked out because I'd be the only one. And I know that's cowardice or whatever, but like it was Easter and I just went and played with my kid. I ain't trying to fucking get in no fight. I'm not going to trust me. With the way these people think, I ain't going to change their goddamn mind at Easter.
Right.
And
walking out is, that's something. You know what I mean?
I didn't storm out, for the record. I didn't make a scene. Please don't think that
I
did anything brave.
Than, sitting there and
being like,
nervously laughing.
Yeah.
Or something.
No.
Okay. Anyway, how about the dogs next year or whatever?
Before then, I will say they were just making sort of politically incorrect jokes, and I did sit there and just awkwardly laugh. One of them was a banger,
right? Sure.
But then it was like, oh no, come on, those are jokes.
And look, I would have done the same thing, but I'm saying that just there's a scene in that movie,
Sinners.
The remake, I know. No, Guess Who, which was the remake of that Sidney Poitier movie. Bernie Mac, Ashton Kutcher is dating Bernie Mac's daughter, which was a remake of a Sidney Poitier movie from back in the day.
Guess Who's coming to dinner?
A race swapped one, I think. Right?
It is.
Sidney Poitier was the one who's coming to dinner, and and the new one, Ashton Kutcher is.
Kutcher's the one, which is honestly a way funnier idea.
Yeah, no, that was a hidden way to do that. I'm sure it probably pissed people off because anytime you race swap anybody, somebody's going to get mad. But that was if you're going to reboot a movie, that's an interesting take on it. But anyway, especially all these years later. But anyway, there's a scene in that where they're all at the dinner table, and he's dating Bernie Mac's daughter, so his fiance is black, and she like tells him, it's like, no, tell him, some good jokes, some black jokes, whatever. And then he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. She's like, it's fine, I promise you, it's fine. So he tells a couple black jokes, and I don't remember what they were, but everybody laughed. It hit for them. Bernie Mac and everybody's laughing and stuff. He's like, tell another one, and it keeps going, and it like escalates.
Yeah,
and then finally
it gets worse.
Yeah, right. And I'm sure the one that they said in the movie, I'm sure don't even come close to what your person said in real life.
Again though, this wasn't a joke.
Like, it escalates. Yeah. People are laughing like that. That dude, if it's kind of like hitting for him, he's gonna continue to push it a little further. Also, you almost just can't. You know what I mean? Like you gotta
up the ante.
You gotta up the ante, and if you're doing that and you're hitting for people, you're eventually going to take it too far if you've got that in your repertoire at all. But yeah, I don't know. Were you alone with this person? Did he cornered you? Okay.
No. It was, thank God, dude, because that would have made it way harder, honestly.
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
It was a decently large group of people, and so when I got up to leave, it was like not really awkward. It was like it's also the best thing about not the best thing about having a kid. The best thing about having a kid is unconditional love. But the second best thing about having a kid,
you can always leave.
You can always leave any situation ever, and no one questions it at all. And also, you can Irish goodbye parties.
Anything.
Like if you're
they're the best built-in excuse
ever
for anything that you ever need. That's
like
very
literally
true.
I could be in the middle of a conversation that's just not hitting for me, and I could just go, oh shit, and just bang, he's running. It's awesome. It's so good. But again, like, him like fulfilling me as a person and making me a better man in the unconditional love, I would put slightly above
getting you out of
excuse with a heartbeat
parties. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But only, but I mean,
it's right there at it.
It is there at it.
It is. And you know what we ought to do, Cho? I think.
What's that, buddy?
I think we probably should hear from our sponsors real quick. You
believe
so? I think we should. First up, I'm gonna tell you all about Bilt. All right, if you've followed me for a while and you heard me on podcasts and stuff, I've brought it up from time to time. I'm a big points man. I don't mean in like basketball or like with the VIG betting on stuff or whatever. Any points are fine, I guess. But I'm talking about points you can use for travel, redeem for things, travel and hotels and things like that. You use, you get in these clubs and you build up points, and then you can use those points to get hits. I didn't know nothing about it. You're right. I didn't know nothing about points as a young trailer child. I was not privy to that world. And as I got older and found out about points, it's like, I'm addicted. I'm a points loving fool. Summer's already around the corner, and we're planning the next getaway. Going to use my points for it like I use for everything. I got a life hack for you when it comes to points. If you pay rent, you can pay rent with Bilt and earn flexible, transferable points and unlock exclusive benefits along the way. You're paying your rent anyway, right? Well, if you use this, you can get points for the rent you're already paying. There's no cost to join, and just by paying rent, you unlock flexible points that can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. When you pay rent through Bilt, you unlock two powerful benefits. First, you earn one of the industry's most valuable points on rent every month. No matter where you live or who your landlord is, your rent now works for you. Second, you gain access to exclusive neighborhood benefits in your city. Bilt's neighborhood benefits are things like extra points on dining out, complimentary post-workout shakes, free mats or towels at your favorite fitness studios, and unique experiences that only Bilt members can access. And when you're ready to travel, Bilt points can be converted to your favorite miles and hotel points around the world, meaning your rent can literally take you places. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, what are you waiting for? That's right. Start paying rent through Bilt and take advantage of your neighborhood benefits by going to joinbilt.com/WellRED. That's joinbilt.com/WellRED. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Joinbilt.com/WellRED to sign up for Bilt today. One more time, joinbilt.com/WellRED. Make it hit with Bilt.
Oh, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Make it hit with Bilt. For men dealing with ED, erectile dysfunction, that can be uncomfortable, which I would like to say, it's not your fault. It don't hit, but I understand why. That is a huge deal. I mean, we you know, we just associate that with our manhood. It's not something people want to talk about, and it's not something you want to go through. But this is why HIMS provides access to a comfortable solution with an all online process and personalized treatment options. That's right. I'm talking about our friends at HIMS. HIMS is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. They also provide a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable tablets, Viagra, and Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% less. 95% less. That's, I mean, I'm not great at math, but that's a lot less, you know. It's also 100% online, so you don't have to go to the doctor or anything like that. You don't need insurance, and there's 100,000 trusted subscribers. HIMS can help you find the ED option that works for you. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/wellread. That's HIMS.com/wellread for personalized ED treatments. hims.com/wellread. The featured products include compounded products which are not approved nor verified by safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Skew. Speaking of which, Kanye sucked his cousin's dick. I can't hear you.
That is my fault. Sorry, I muted myself and forgot I did. Can you hear me now?
I can. I was just mentioning that Kanye sucked his cousin's dick. And
I heard that.
weird.
Yes. It was a good time for me to be muted. Because, like, if you're only listening.
I was like, I'm bombing.
Yeah. Well, also, if you're only listening, it's like, it's Trae stunned into silence? Or, yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Like,
what?
Like, just, yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Right. Yeah. Waiting with bated breath to see how I respond to that news.
Lip quivering.
So, all right. He just tweeted that? Is that the context and when it came out?
Yeah, let me read the tweet. Let me read the tweet. It is, because I saw the memes first, as is how that works. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I was like, wait, what? So Ye he released a new song. He said, this is his promo for the song, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He puts the link out of the song. This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. So it's like a dick-sucking Cousins Anonymous post.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I didn't know he was from the South.
I had to come.
I knew he was from the South Side, but I didn't know. That even works in Chicago. If you're from the South Side, you'll suck your cousin's dick.
So, all right. Here's the thing. So, is everyone believing this or not or what? Because he's obviously a full-blown lunatic.
He
right?
is. Wild
and he
thing
says,
to say if it's not true.
Yeah, but doesn't he say all kinds of insanely wild things to say? That's like, why would anyone ever say what he just said? And he does that all the time.
Being a black conservative,
like he could think maybe this will make the song hit.
Well, I mean, like, I'm going to listen to it now.
Right,
I wouldn't have before.
Any publicity's good publicity. It's like, I got to listen to the cousin dick sucking song from Kanye. Hell, I got to know. What if it's a banger? Then I'll feel weird about it. That's,
dude.
But, no, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm inclined to think that it probably is true because, why in God's name would you say it if it isn't? But at the same time, it is him.
It's Kanye.
So
it is Kanye. Now, I will say this. Like, if it was his girl cousin, I'd be like, maybe he's just making shit up. But it's like,
right.
Okay, he's a full Trump, like wears Hitler shit, whatever the fuck.
Right.
And also, we both know, not that it's great in the white community, but that in the black community, especially amongst rappers, homophobia is very prevalent, oftentimes to do with either the Lord or just like, I want to be manly or whatever. This is a pretty damning thing to say if you're a member of both of those clubs. And I hate to be, but I also hate to be conspiracy minded. Because every now and then people were like, oh, everybody in Hollywood's paid to say all this stuff to distract you from what's going on. And I'm like, I mean, is Trump about to invade Yemen or something? And they were just like, Kanye, tell everybody you suck your cousin's dick. It'll flood the headlines, and we'll do all this shit in the background because Pete Hex's trial is today or something like that.
Well, he'd have to. I mean, what a good soldier Kanye is if he, if he just rolled with that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you're always a good soldier if you got a gun to your head and videos of you doing terrible things that would ruin your life. Although I don't think you can ruin someone's life that has that fan base.
Right.
Unless they admit that they're like, they sucked a boy's dick.
Yeah, it's funny to think that there's a non-zero number of dudes out there right now who are like, up until now, Kanye hit for me so hard.
Right.
But this is a bridge too far. And I know it's obviously a very fucked up situation all around because you're talking about two kids doing it and their cousins and all that. It's not just.
It's very fucked up.
It's not just that it's like gay, but for for these people, I think it's mostly just that it's gay,
right? Because like to me, listening to it,
because
like,
he's saying they're the same age, right? Is that
well,
part clear? That's unclear, isn't it? Like
it is unclear
because if he's like multiple years older than his cousin, and then that's
he said he did it until he was. He said he did it until he was 14, implying that it went on for a while. So Kanye was obviously still underage when it happened. Bro, I don't know, man. But like the thing is, like,
he says when my cousin was 6, I started showing him stuff.
When he was 6.
So when he was 6.
I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6.
Right.
When he was 6. And he said, my name is Jay, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. So
what if he started that when he was like 11 or 12? I was about to say,
dude, because here's the thing. The only way that it's like halfway okay is like if Kanye was 7,
if they're
that
both
means he sucked his dick for 7 years.
Yeah, right. That's a long time to suck your cousin's dick. I mean, anytime.
That's a long time to suck your cousin's dick.
Anytime is a long time to suck your cousin's dick.
And that to me is a bridge too far.
Yeah.
You suck your cousin's dick a couple times, then you go, ugh. You don't do it for 7 years. I mean, again, though, it's a sad story because they're kids, but that's how I look at it is like, if they were truly around the same age and they're kids, like no part of me goes, oh my God, Kanye's gay. I go, no, he's a confused child that saw things he shouldn't seen and his brain didn't take it well and all that shit. But like it being Kanye, I don't know. It's just fucking crazy. Like just when you think this dude
can't get wilder.
Right. It's like,
he goes and does something like this.
And like somebody was like, I posted a joke on Instagram and Twitter about it, which was.
You see what 50 Cent said?
No, what
he said? He said, "Damn!" Like the day this all happened, it's Sunday, I guess, whenever it was. He goes, "Damn! Nick's lost, Pope died, and Ye sucked his cousin's dick. I'm going to fucking bed." Maybe tomorrow will be a better day.
It's so funny to me to think that 50 Cent the Pope dying is as relevant as those two things.
Yeah,
that's how you know he's the same thing. That's how you know he's a comedic genius because it didn't. He's like, it'll be funny.
Right.
He goes, here's 2 things that actually matter to me, and one. I don't
have a third, but here is a thing that will work for that because it's a big thing. Yeah, right.
He's a comedian,
I agree completely.
And it's the rule of 3. He knows that.
Right.
He couldn't have. He knows that. Like innately, 50 Cent is one of the funniest fucking people that hasn't dedicated his life to being funny that I've ever seen in my life. Like he's so good. And I mean, sometimes he'll go a little too far. Sure, of course. Right. As you said, all the greats do. Even Ashton Kutcher in Guess Who. You start testing the limits. Like he made a I can't remember what the post he made once was, but it was about gay people or something. And fucking 2 Chainz commented on it. It said, "Cool it, Fifth," and he did. Like he cooled it. But anyways, I made this post. It only works if you know the John Mulaney special, "New in Town," which was I quote tweeted. I was like, "Excuse me, I'm black, I'm gay, I'm a Nazi, I'm new in town," which did hit for way more people on Instagram than I thought because, I mean, John Mulaney's famous. But somebody was like, I don't know if I believe this because that motherfucker literally will just say any words possible, to get attention. Right. And I was like, yeah, you're right, which really sucks because used to he would just write words in an order that rhymed and get plenty of attention because he was so good at it. And it's like, it is a shame to see like used to, I mean, Kanye always had that air about him. Like Dave Chappelle even joked about it. It's like the first time I met Kanye, he's like, rewind that shit, play that shit back. Like he's always been a dude that had that aura about him that like I'm great, I'm whatever. But he backed it up with bangers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now it's like he does the crazy shit so that you will now listen to his music. Used to it was like you listen to his music, then he did the crazy shit because he felt like the music justified it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, isn't it like I don't know if I should say generally accepted, but a widely spread theory that is when his mama died that he kind of
He
snapped or began to snap, because I don't, again, shit I've read on the internet that I did not fact check because that's how I operate. I've read that like his mama died as part of a surgery,
yeah,
right? Like
a routine
complications,
surgery.
a
Yeah.
routine complication during a routine surgery that I think he like
Up.
got for her.
Yes,
or
he
whatever.
did.
Like paid for her to get, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I could definitely see how that would fuck somebody up, but like,
For sure.
go to therapy for a while.
But he blamed the
You don't
Jews
turn-
for it.
Right,
Like,
I'd say don't turn into a Nazi.
I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
I don't.
Also, I mean, that's got to be fucking 15 plus years ago now or something, I would imagine.
But that's right
10
around
or
the
so.
time that's right around the time he snapped. Yeah, and like, but it really could be as simple as like that happened. The doctor was Jewish, and Kanye started to believe all that, like those old Martin Lawrence legend theories of like the Jews are trying to kill all the black people in Hollywood and all this shit. And he just was like, it was confirmation bias for him. And then he fucking also, you got a guy here, Kanye West, who like nobody in this man's corner is telling him no ever. Like he's just got people around him that sycophants that when he says something, it's like, okay. So like he don't have no objective grip on reality. Like he was fucking, also in this time, like the people he was surrounding himself with were the fucking Kardashians. Like this dude's out there, man. He's fucking Looney Tunes.
Well,
Who
also,
am I? Who am I? This guy's out there, man. He's Looney Tunes. Who the fuck am I right now?
Didn't he also just recently lose that new naked chick of his?
Did he? I don't know.
Lose as in they broke up. I think he didn't.
Yeah,
she ain't dead or nothing. But she took her naked ass off somewhere. I think.
I don't blame her because it seems like every day Kanye was like, "Bitch, put your ass in a garbage bag and come here. Let's go out in public."
A see-through garbage bag.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man.
Said something about Martin Lawrence or whoever, the whole like the Jews in Hollywood and the black people and what they're trying to do and whatnot. This is only vaguely related to this because it has to do with like, I don't know, homophobia and all of that type of stuff, I guess. But we might have talked about this before on here. Sorry if we have. What do you think about that whole like? Sometimes black people in show business will talk pretty openly, like on podcasts and shit, about how like, about the dress, right? And like the like eventually, as a black
they're
man,
going to make you wear a dress.
You're going to be made to wear a dress, and if you don't play ball, they'll fuck you, and if you do, you pass their test, and they'll let you be one of their fucking one of their chosen ones or whatever. And it's like, just what do you think about that? Because usually, it's like in the context of comedy too, right? Often, because I know it's like
it all goes back to Nipsey Russell, or
didn't Cat say this about Kevin Hart, or him and somebody said this about Kevin Hart, where it's like, I think Cat made the claim. I'm really talking out of my ass now, but that like he was going to be some role in some movie,
and he wouldn't wear the dress.
Said
or whatever.
no to the dress. He said no to the dress. That's a spinoff show on.
That's so funny.
Spinoff show about this on A&E, but it's about this subject. But he said no to the dress, and then Kevin Hart said yes to the dress.
I don't remember Kevin Hart ever being in a dress, but I'm sure. I mean, whatever.
I mean, but like.
Dude, Chris Farley also wore a dress.
That's my whole thing. That's what I think every time.
Comedic tool.
Every time, the main thing I think as a comedian and comedy nerd is I'm like,
bro,
you think Uncle Milty got forced into it? It's like a drag, like you said, whatever you think about what this says about society or whatever. We did it in our fucking Comedy Central sketches. Put me in drag. Put you in drag. Like
I had we have a contractual clause with Comedy Central. When we do a sketch, one of us has to be in the makeup chair for 8 fucking hours. That's a rule.
Like it's just a long-standing thing and trope in comedy, especially where it's like, put a dude in a dress, and it'll be, and it's like, well, I just don't think it necessarily has any kind of racial context to it, but I
don't either. I mean,
what the fuck do I know?
Well, I mean, I know that I've seen as many white men do it as I've seen black men do it. I think the problem would be is that The problem would be is it seems more prevalent maybe in the black community because Hollywood over the years and the American public at large have only allowed so many black people to become stars where so many white people have. And then it's just like, so if, you know, if 4 out of the 5 big black comedians from the past couple of years have worn a dress, it seems like all of them have, you know what I mean? But it's like Sandler, Farley, Phil Hartman. There's no one that's ever been on Saturday Night Live that hasn't worn a dress. Like, and again, and this all starts with like Nipsey Russell back in the 70s. He famously did this, but it was, it's kind of what made him popular. I don't think they made him do it. This was Nipsey Russell's idea. Like, I'm a comedian, I'm gonna go and drag and play this female character. And I think it all like a lot of it stems from that, but a lot of it also stems from vaudeville. Again, it's a trope because it's comedy is subverting expectations, and it's like, oh, here's a dude in a dress. And it's like that famous Tina Fey quote. It's like, if you want to make an audience laugh, you dress a man up like an old lady and push her down the stairs. But if you want to make a comedian laugh, you push an actual old lady down the stairs, you know? And I know that last part is only for comedians, but the first part is true because it's like, right, like Kevin James in a dress would be funny to a lot of people. I don't know if it's right, it's cheap, whatever, but like, no, I don't think it's a humiliation ritual for black people specifically. John Cena wore a dress like at the Oscars or something. And they were like,
no,
see,
he came out naked, didn't he?
That's right. And they considered that part of some Hollywood thing. And I'm like, okay, but he's a white Hitler Youth looking alpha male. Like, so it's not a race thing. I'm not saying Hollywood ain't fucked up and don't do some of this shit. And I'm not saying that they're not racist against black people. I don't think the dress has anything to do with it.
I agree with you. And that say this about John Cena, then I want to pivot into John Cena. But that John Cena thing that happened, Katie told me, I don't know where she got this, but Katie told me at the time that actually a lot of other people thought that they came out naked because there was some sort of labor dispute happening with the costumers, wardrober, at that time, and that was him showing solidarity with them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I certainly would roll with that.
Was actually, I thought
was it publicized? Like that's what he said.
I'm pretty sure
that's what he said he did.
I don't know if it was that's what he said, but like
maybe you're right. I don't even remember. Maybe
I
that's
think that was
literally
the point
what he
of the
said.
bit.
And
I think that was the point of the bit.
Right. So all these people says humiliation ritual just called that bullshit.
Yeah, and it's like, do you think I can tell you right now, John Cena has been working for Vince McMahon for nigh on 30 years. There ain't nothing you can do to humiliate this motherfucker.
Okay, that's the thing I wanted to get into with John Cena because I don't keep up with wrestling drama, but I saw that he like came out and I don't know if it came out in support is the right way to put it, but he said like, hey, I'm never gonna hate Vince McMahon. Vince was good to me, basically, so he hits for me. Like he said something like that, didn't he? That pissed people off in recent days. He
said basically and by the way, he said this before, even after the allegations came out. The reason that it's way more publicized now is because John Cena made his return to WrestleMania and beat Ric Flair's record for championships. He's now the 17-time champion. So it's more publicized now, but it came out like when all the allegations first came out, they asked Cena about it. And like, I mean, I'll give him a little bit of credit because he was like, okay, right now, these are all just allegations. He's like, I'm not saying I don't take them serious. He said, but like, you know, it's a lot for me to process. And all I know is the man that I know who I love and has always treated me great. And he's like, you know, until he's convicted or until this is proved true, he's like, that's how I'm going to remain. You know, I don't know what to tell you. And he basically said the same. He goes, you can't tell your heart what to think. He's like, and I love this man, you know, whatever. I'm not saying that's right, but I get it right because, you know, me and you've talked about this all the time.
Right.
Like if somebody tomorrow came out with hypothetically allegations about you,
right?
People would allegations like not I've seen the video and saw you do this shit because that's a lot different, you know. Even then though, it would still take me a long time to be like, how do I throw away this, you know, not to get sappy on you, but this beautiful 15-year relationship with this guy that I love and know, and that's not the guy I know and all that shit. I'm not going to throw him away based on allegations, you know. Proof, sure, whatever, but based on allegations, no. I'm not going to do that. Now, granted, bro, Vince McMahon did that shit.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't, and I guess he could just say no comment. You know, he could, the least he could do was say no comment. But also, like, I don't know, man, he's such a fucking, like, dudes like Cena and The Rock, like, they've been working with PR companies for so long that now their brain just thinks in PR. You know what I mean? Like, which is not, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to say other than like, he was being interviewed about WrestleMania, and then they threw this question in there, and maybe he's just like, I don't want to fucking talk about this shit. You know, I don't want to. I don't know, man.
What was the other? So WrestleMania just happened, right? And it's like, wasn't there a bunch of shit going on? Wrestling,
there was a bunch of shit.
Drama and stuff.
Yeah, so right before WrestleMania, Roman Reigns was asked about politics or whatever, and he came out in support of Trump. Like, you know, I'm not saying I was always on the team, but like America's prospering and blah, which is, you know, what all this shit. And it's like, again, it's like these dudes, like, yeah, you're killing it. Like, why wouldn't a multimillionaire that's headlining WrestleMania think everything's going great? You know, he's said that, and then Triple H. Somebody asked him about Trump, and he gave the most. I've been in my own world for so long that I cannot see the fucking outside. He goes, oh man, he's like, you know, Trump, say what you will about him. He's like, love him or hate him, you know, he's a great character. You know, the guy knows how to get heat. The guy knows how to get heat. And it's like,
sure can cut a promo.
He sure can cut a, and all of those things are fucking true.
Right.
But it's like, but it's like,
they're carnies, right? Wrestling. And he's like a carny president, sort of. So
and it's like,
it makes sense that they would see things in him that, you know.
And he's a WWE Hall of Famer. And
I forgot about that.
He's a WWE Hall of Famer, and I have no doubt that Triple H likes him as a person. They've hung out or whatever. And, you know, it's just like Bill Maher. He's like, you know, when I met the real Trump, and it's like, okay, but the real Trump don't matter. It's what he's presenting that matters.
Right.
Like, no, you know, really in secret, he's a sweet guy that cares about people. And it's like, well, do that in public, bitch.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so
a lot of people do, not just Bill. Many people say that about Trump, and so I do believe it. But it's like I
believe it too, but that doesn't make him a good
person.
But it doesn't
make a difference. Yeah, right. I agree. Yeah, like I believe them when they. I believe he probably is. I guess because I've heard enough people say it in person. Like he's charming and likable, and you get along with him.
Of course, why would he be?
Well, on this note, it's like, you know,
I feel the same way about Bill Maher.
The brilliant Larry David.
Yeah.
Right. Wrote an op-ed in the New York Times called My Dinner with Adolf, where he basically drew a pretty slick parallel.
What
about
a legend.
Like I know he's the man, dude. And it was like, he was the perfect person to have done that too. Well, you know what I mean? Because it's like, who gonna say shit about Larry David?
Nobody.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
it also doesn't matter. It's like, he's, you know, but I mean, I've said the same thing for years, literally about Bill Maher. Like, literally about Bill Maher, I was like, you know, the guy you see on TV is not really the guy you meet in person. He's very charming. He's very sweet. He's not condescending. He's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, right, but that's may all be true. But the guy who you show yourself as in public is who you are. Like, that is who you are.
Right.
Unless you're
also, I'll say about Bill Maher, having been around him multiple times, like, that also is not, it depends.
Well, I met him one time at a party. We smoked a joint together, and he was really cool.
That's what I always say. He was very cool. The other times I was physically around Bill Maher, it was like he kind of was the way you'd expect him to
but
be.
Either way, it doesn't matter. My thing is like, but to me, it's like, unless you are literally a character in a sitcom, I go, however, if you present yourself as, this is Real Time with Bill Maher, that means that's who you are, right? Mm-hmm. That's Real Time with Bill Maher. Now, if you're like, I would never be like, fuck Walton Goggins. Did you hear what he said as Uncle Baby Billy? You know what I mean? That's a huge difference. How you present yourself to the public may not be exactly who you are, but if you say horrible things and you mean it, then it is like, okay, I present myself as, I'm a dumbass, don't get me wrong, but I present myself as far more of a dumbass as I am for comedic purposes, right? But I would never but if you ever hear me start saying some Nazi shit and in secretive, I'm just like, I'm just saying it to get people riled up. It doesn't matter. If you're pretending to be a Nazi for fame or clout, then you're a Nazi. You're a fucking Nazi. It's the same. You're still serving the Nazis' purpose, which means you're in their club, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought before, you know, arguably that, because it's always a question with like people on the right wing in this country. It's like some of them, and I don't know what the ratio is, but undoubtedly there is a split where it's like, you know, true believers versus just straight up grifters. And it's like, I think it's highly debatable which of those two categories is actually worse. You know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me that like weirdly
Grifters
kind of respects the true believer. You know, I hate everything they stand for, but I'm like, but you know,
I can't help what you believe.
At least you fucking walk it, you know, like, and it's like, your Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I have no doubt whatsoever that she is exactly the type of lunatic bitch she presents herself to be.
Dumb cunt.
And I weirdly I prefer that to someone who's like, fakes not being a lunatic bitch.
You're worse
but
of a person if you're faking it, because and it's funny to bring up this guy in this particular subject, but like Ricky Gervais, who like has really took a huge swing to the other side. But like, I remember one time he was on Colbert, and Colbert's a Christian, which let me say that again. Colbert, the host of a network television program, is an out and about God-fearing Christian, and no one has a problem with it.
Catholic, right? Is he a Catholic?
Or just that's South Carolina. I don't know. He's from the South Carolina, so it could go either way.
Which would be sort of weird, but I still kind of think he's Catholic. Anyway, whatever.
It's funny you say that, because Catholic is sort of the Christianity that Hollywood accepts. They're like, you know what I mean? Like if you're like when Chris Pratt's just a regular Christian, so some people are like, but if you find out someone's a Catholic, you're like, well, that's fine. They drink. Whatever.
Honestly, I'll sort of you said they drink, but I think you could make a pretty good case for defending that position where it's like,
no, I agree.
But it's also like Catholic. There's people who are almost like culturally Catholic.
They're culturally Catholic.
Like it's like such a part of certain communities, cultures, and it's ancient and all that. Well, I mean, of course, Baptist is part of ours too, but it's like, but still, I kind of understand why people would think that. Frankly, I kind of think that.
Bro,
if I find out someone's a Catholic versus finding out someone's like
Southern Baptist,
a hardcore Southern Baptist,
I'm way more into him.
Well, the Catholic I can fuck with,
dude.
But
I just had a 3-hour conversation with Kathleen Madigan yesterday, and like she's a hardcore Catholic, and like it's if I was
Jim
talking
Gaffigan, he's Catholic,
right?
And
if I was talking to a hardcore Southern Baptist, that conversation, I'll tell you what, it wouldn't have lasted 3 hours. I can tell you that much right now. It'd be way different. But what the fuck were we talking about?
We're talking about Stephen Colbert, Ricky Gervais.
Stephen Colbert. Ricky Gervais was on there, and he was like, and Stephen was like, why don't you believe in God or whatever? And he's like, well, I just don't. And he's like, but how? And Ricky Gervais is like, okay, I want you to do something for me. Stop believing in God. And he's like, I can't. And he goes, okay, there you go. He's like, you believe in him. You can't stop believing him. I don't believe him. I can't start. It's like, I believe that he's not real, and that's just my belief, and I can't change how I feel about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the people that are like, again, if you believe whites are supreme or whatever, you're still an asshole. You're still a huge asshole, but like, if you believe it, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? But if you believe it based on regurgitated talking point bullshit that you got off of a Ben Shapiro podcast, you're a fucking idiot. But like, I don't know. It's difficult, man, because like the people that down here, the people that believe in God, there's nothing I could ever say to them. There's no amount of wonderful homosexuals that I could introduce them to make them stop believing that homosexuality is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's dangerous. That there's a book that is unverified. Nobody asked Grok if the Bible was real back in the day. We didn't have Grok. We didn't have ChatGPT to verify it. And it's dangerous because they believe it. But I agree with you.
Well, that's the main thing that should make the difference that they don't seem to understand or want to acknowledge is it's like, it's not the same. It doesn't go both ways because you try to use your beliefs to
hurt people,
force them on other people.
Right. I'm not doing that.
And we're not doing that to you. Like, no one's telling you that you can't believe whatever you want to believe, but you can't use your beliefs to tell this person they can't be who they are or what they are, because that's not. You're right. What is it? Your beliefs don't extend to other people's right. Your freedom ends where other people's.
Your rights end where someone else's begins.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
But the thing is, though, I agree with you 100%. But if you were debating one of those people wrongly, they would go, well, yeah, but y'all are forcing your beliefs on us by making Snow White Mexican and telling me that transgender people have to be in the army. And it's like, but none of these things are. What belief is that? That Mexicans should be allowed to do? By the way, I don't even know if she's Mexican. Whatever. But it's like belief that what do you that you're forcing your beliefs that transgender people shouldn't die, they shouldn't die, or they should be sent to camps or whatever.
Right.
Like RFK's like, he just released a program today or something. It's like he's going to track autistic people. Like he's going to track autistic people like you do your kids on your cell phone. Like that's your belief getting in the way of my fucking freedom. My belief is that everyone should have personal property rights and be left the fuck alone unless they are causing harm or starting a riot. Y'all don't believe that. You believe, like, the things that they say is like the transgender person, the gay person, the black person, whatever, their very existence is political and therefore disruptive of our nature of life. And it's like all they're saying is leave me the fuck out of it. No one's saying give me this, give me that. They're going, leave me the fuck out of your bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, oh, you are forcing it down our throat. It's like everything that you would use to justify saying that is just us telling you that you can't stop these people from doing these things.
By the way, and also, what are these fucking people watching that they go Hollywood shoving transgenderism and gay shit down our throat? Dude, I'm currently watching like 6 or 7 new shows that have come out or new movies, and I haven't seen one. Maybe there was a gay relationship in one, but it certainly wasn't forced. It was just like, oh, this person's gay, and nobody ever said anything about it. No, I've seen no transgenderism shit. Because I'm watching explosive like mob shit, and I'm like, I'm the liberal douche that you're talking about, and the media that I'm consuming ain't shoving nothing down my throat. And maybe you could say like, well, you're just immune to it at this point, but it's like, no, I look out for that shit. I look out for it just so I can be like, I can track it. I'm like, what are y'all? But it's like these people think that they have to watch Amelia Perez.
That's the main thing.
You know what I mean?
It's like, just don't watch it, right?
Because there's like, dude, Taylor Sheridan has 19 shows on right now for you.
Right, exactly. For you, just watch those things, right?
There's
exactly.
more stuff.
Fucking all them Kirk Cameron movies, all those like Jesus movies. Like, I hate. I've never seen them, and I never will. I just don't watch them. Like, I know they won't hit for me, so I just don't watch them, and that's the end of it.
I can tell you something right now that I don't have backed up, but I can guarantee you I'm correct. 99 to 98% of movies that come out this year will not feature a transgender person or talk about transgenderism. Period. Right. They won't. And here's why. Because those movies are trying to make money.
Right.
I mean, but or it doesn't fit the story. It doesn't fit the story. Like I'm writing a thing right now, and I'm very pro-gay. I'm very pro-trans. I'm very pro all that stuff. And I'm writing a story, and none of them are in it because I have they don't fit the story. And I'm not trying to shove something. I would have to shoehorn them in, and I agree that that's happened. I totally agree that that's happened. Sometimes sometimes a show or a person will be like, they'll try to shoehorn in something for political points, sure. But like for the most part, no. Like, for the most part, no, not at all. Dude, there wasn't even a fucking gay... the only gay relationship in this season of White Lotus was 2 brothers jacking each other off. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, no spoilers.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's out of control. I know it sounds like we're just getting started, but we'll have to continue it next time because it's time for us to wrap it up, y'all. Thanks for watching, listening, whichever one you did. Come see me on the road. I'll be in Houston, Texas this weekend.
Nice.
And then Seattle and Vegas and Tulsa and La Jolla and a bunch of other places in the near future. Go to TraeCrowder.com. Also on there, you can find a link to my special Trash Daddy. Watch that if you haven't already. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Watch it. Come see me on the road. Make a hit. TraeCrowder.com. That's it for me.
Watch it. Hey, I'll be at Helium in St. Louis on May 2nd. Friday night, 2 shows. Come see me. The link will be in the description of this podcast. Also, and I know this seems weird because they're so far apart and only 2 dates, but I just booked Fort Worth, Texas, June 26th. So come see me there. Again, tickets will be in the description. Hey, stay tuned. If you're on Twitch, subscribe to me on Twitch. Because I've been streaming a lot, but you can see it everywhere. I put it on. I stream on YouTube, Twitter, all the places. I've been streaming video games, having a lot of fun with the chat. We're playing Grand Theft Auto 5 right now, and I have a character called Catfish Jimmy. And I'm streaming, by the way, as a means to raise money for a short film / project that I'm working on. So, you know, you can either subscribe on Twitch, you can throw money in the chat or whatever. But it's just, I didn't want to do a GoFundMe because I always felt like, well, the GoFundMe is like, give me money and you don't get anything. I'm like, I'll entertain you for 3 hours. And if you think it was worth it, you can give me $1, you know, whatever. So check me out on that. Replays go up at WeLoveCorey.com, which is also where you can find my brand new podcast, Public Domain Sleepy Time Theater, amongst many other things. And look out for another Atlanta Journal-Constitution article this week. Listen to Putting on Airs, do all that good stuff, and thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night. Where's Drew? Fart.
Putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. We collected from our love of Downton Abbey. We collected, we found out we're both so fancy. Hey, what's the difference between rednecks and royal families? Only money, cause they both have sex with family. Ew. Putting on airs. What other rednecks to talk about foreign affairs? Laughing so hard that we end up falling out our chairs. Sir Trae, Sir Corey, oh what a pair. High class topics with a redneck flair, oh yeah. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Okay, it's Team Squirrel or Team Trae. Oh yeah, we keeping it basic. He thinks that the squirrels at Corey's mom's house are racist. And you know squirrels live in the same place for generations. So Trae, you better count your days and you better count your blessings. Cause all the squirrels that you ran over, that you think are nameless, faceless, their families are getting together and plotting on you from the attic and basement. So even though Corey is dumb, fat, and bald, he knows how to avoid drama, don't get squirrels involved. Two rednecks, but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks, but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea.